Hi everyone. I'm so sorry for the lack of uploads recently, but I have been dealing with a lot in the background right now, including being jobless, dealing with personal internal conflicts, and unfortunately, I've just been falling out of the Animal Jam community as of recent times. I've been much more active on Webkins and World of Warcraft that I haven't had the time nor motivation to actually play Animal Jam anymore. I will be showing AJ gameplay in the background, however, as this was what I built the channel on. I don't know where I'll go with this channel after this. If I'll continue to do AJ videos, or if I'll just start to do Webkins and World of Warcraft stuff instead, because I just don't see myself being on AJ anymore once my memberships all expire. It sucks, but it happens, I guess. Anyways, for those of you who are not aware, this video will be centered around this user, Superlucky128. She's primarily a classic player, and I would never recall seeing her on Play Wild, so if any Play Wild users have seen her, feel free to say so, as I had never seen her online there when I was. This video will be going into detail of my experience with her, every bit and piece. This is mainly meant to make other players aware of her very toxic behavior and clear my name, as I had caught wind that she might be spreading rumors about me scamming her, which just simply isn't the case. For those of you not willing to sit through the whole video, here's a short rundown of my experience in a couple sentences. Superlucky128 is extremely toxic, a liar, manipulative, a bigot, and overall just not someone I recommend you hang around. She's nowhere near as bad as Hyanine1 was, however, I do not condone her behavior just as much as I don't condone Hyanine's. Her behavior is reminiscent of that of a narcissist or a spoiled 8-year-old brat. I was her friend at one point, but once all of this slowly unraveled, I ran for the hills. But this experience keeps coming back to bite me in the behind. I've been both wanting to quit AJ and to some extent leave behind any friends from said community just so I don't have to hear about her anymore and I can just forget all about it ever happening. If that isn't a good enough explanation of my experience, then watch on, fellow YouTubers. Here's the cast for this video. Everyone except me and Superlucky herself will be given aliases, and they will have the opportunity to come forward if they would like to and reveal which alias name is theirs. Coconut is me, Superlucky is Superlucky, Cassie will be friend 1, Twilight will be friend 2, Gwen will be friend 3, and finally Snowy will be friend 4. Now, we start the saga into my experience with Superlucky. This is going to be a wild ride, so strap in and get ready to roll. It all starts at the summer carnival. Her and someone else I cannot recall now were talking, and I decided to join in because the other person seemed really funny. Turned out Superlucky was the same, or so I thought. She came back into my den and everything seemed okay at first. However, a week or so goes by and I run into her again. We start talking again and eventually she comes back to my den again. We're talking and all of a sudden she brings Jesus up. At first I did not know if it was a joke or not, so I just let her talk about him. Turns out she's a Christian. No biggie, I respect that, so long as you're not shoving it in my face or down my throat. Though, after a few times talking, religion and Jesus would be all she talked about. I couldn't talk about anything else, and it eventually got so tiring that I'd have to log off and make it seem like it was dinner time or my bedtime or whatever excuse I could think of at the moment. Now enters the guilt tripping for free or cheap items. Superlucky had mentioned that she was scammed out of a DPHD, dark pink headdress for those of you unaware. I had put some consideration into trying to get one for her, however, I ended up not getting it at first because I didn't want to use my worth for something that big to give away. I had seen her do this another few times to other jammers and didn't really say anything because I didn't think it was as bad as it would turn out to be. It's bad. Then comes the day this person comes into my den and says someone is bashing Superlucky. At this point in time, I was unaware of what this other person was going to tell me. This penguin at the Juice Hut, who I'm not sure of their user now, told me that she is anti-LGBT and actively shuts down any talk relating back to that topic because of her religious beliefs. I get not supporting it, but don't shove it in other people's faces. As someone who's part of the LGBT community myself, I felt forced to out myself to her about who I am and what standing I have in said community, and she said she didn't care and still wanted to be my friend. So I dropped it, much to this penguin's dismay. Present day me wants to go back and make the opposite decision honestly, because I feel like she only stayed my friend because of how quote unquote rare I am. In August sometime, my main account ended up getting hacked. Someone took all of my high value items and left me practically high and dry, save for a few long wrists and my founder's hat. Superlucky was online at the time, so I went to her event and say that I might quit. First words out of her mouth were, "If you're quitting, can I have your spare items?" I can't even make this up. That was literally what she said to me. Not caring about your friend got hacked. Nope. Just caring if they'll give you their items or not. Yeah, that's a friend. That's a great friend. Go take your headdress and shove it up. Anyways, I eventually stopped being friends with her because I just didn't want to deal with the Christianity talk anymore. Me being agnostic and not believing in one set religion or belief. Plus, the constant use of toilet humor was getting really old, and her begging for items was just too much. The real straw that broke the camel's back, however, was when I got hacked and what she said. It got so bad that I even started locking my den entirely because of her, not knowing at the time that the block function would prevent her from entering till I tested it out with another friend. Eventually, I started to feel bad for just leaving like that, so I tried to talk to her, but there was only one thing that got her attention: the enticement of free items. I said something along the line of, "Anyone want a free headdress?" just to test it, and she immediately responded by hopping into my den, which was unlocked because I was meeting with traders that day. We eventually became friends again, and through the course of this second phase of friendship, I met Snowy, Twilight, Cassie, and Gwen. Three of these folks are former friends of hers, while one is my friend only and was never friends with Lucky, being made aware of her behavior long before she could get in touch with them. Unfortunately, after nonstop bugging, prodding, and guilt tripping, Super Lucky got me to give her a dark pink headdress as I had originally said I would try to do. What was her reaction? To immediately ask for an alpha sword after. I was very taken aback, and that was another red flag from her. You just got a big item, now you want me to try and get you an even bigger one? Fat chance in hell, honey. I knew right then and there I made a mistake gifting her this item. I ended up gifting another big item to Snowy, and they appreciated it more than anything, despite trading it away to get better stuff. That's okay, though. At least they appreciated it. At this point, they started telling me to ask for the headdress back from Super Lucky because she clearly was ungrateful and only cared about worth, not friends. After this, a few weeks go by, and I see Twilight and Gwen, who I had heard of and seen but never previously engaged with, talking about Super Lucky in the Juice Hut. Snowy pops in shortly after, and we all spill our respective tea. Apparently, she had gotten so triggered that one of them, Twilight, I think, said breastfeeding, and unfriended them both and called them unholy. That's a pretty nuclear reaction to something so small. Twilight had also told me, which Cassie would go on to back up later, that Super Lucky would say some extremely suggestive stuff about Jesus. I won't say any of it here because just no, but you can definitely ponder what some of those things were. I end up becoming buddies with both of them after this engagement and tell them of my horrid experience with Super Lucky so far. After that, I sort of just stopped talking to Super Lucky, avoided her if I was online, and went back to having it completely locked in. Eventually, I become close friends with Cassie, Super Lucky's only remaining friend out of the aforementioned group, including me. Cassie began to tell me things I didn't know, and I was shocked. Cassie had known her for years, and in those years, Super Lucky had never owned a dark pink headdress or a black headdress, which she claimed to have been scammed of multiple times to people. She claims to have been hacked and scammed when apparently it didn't actually happen. This shocked me, but didn't surprise me if that makes any sense. Why would you lie like that? For some stupid pixels on a computer screen? That's so manipulative. Cassie told me another time that one of her friends was giving her a spike because Cassie was also hacked sometime around this, and Super Lucky came barging into the den saying, "I heard there was free spikes!" And that really made Cassie mad. Snowy and I had thought about a few reasons why she acts like this. Maybe she's autistic, maybe she's just spoiled and or sheltered, a troll, lying about her age. The autism theory earned me a lot of backlash because of the way I worded it in a Discord server, so I decided to see myself if Super Lucky was. Super Lucky said she is indeed not autistic, so that theory was debunked. I will note that I'm autistic myself and was only trying to see if there could be an ounce of sympathy towards her otherwise toxic behavior. The others have not been debunked, but for clarification, Super Lucky claims she is 17, almost 18. Definitely doesn't act like it. It wouldn't be too long before Cassie abandoned her too, and she was left with not a single one of us from this group of five. Around this time is when I started distancing myself from AJ to play other games and seriously started to consider quitting. The only thing left to do was to try and get my dark pink headdress back, as by now everyone in my group was encouraging me to get it back from her. We tried and tried and tried. We tried just asking. We tried ganging up and asking all at once. We tried using methods that were unorthodox and bordered on scamming that now looking back we probably shouldn't have tried. We also got confirmation of her not supporting LGBT folk, so we know she's a bigot for sure. She got a silver headdress eventually that she told me and Cassie was from a giveaway, but told Gwen and Twilight that it was from her guilt tripping another member about really wanting a black headdress, and they were like, "I don't have black, but here you go," and gave her a silver one. Needless to say, I have stopped wearing my silver headdress since, which kind of hurts because it was part of my main look and my favorite headdress of the existing, I think there's nine. Instead, I wear a silver party hat now as part of my main look. I had also noticed that at some point she took the dark pink headdress off of all her other fits and replaced them with the silver one, signifying that she probably didn't even want it anymore. Finally, a few days ago, Snowflake cracked her and she gave it back via Jamagram. Right now, it's just sitting there, and I'll probably try to trade it for one or two of the new contest items. Shortly after giving it back, she logged off, and my friend group collectively dreaded her telling the others I scammed her of the dark pink headdress. Little did I know they'd be right. Snowy DMs me and says, I got bad news. And I ask, what is it now? And they tell me that they caught wind that Super Lucky got scammed of a dark pink headdress. So, great. That means she's spreading the rumor that I scammed her now. At that point, I just shut down, and that alone sealed my future fate with this game. I'm pretty much done. My friends all agreed to keep others in the know about me not doing anything like that, and that the headdress was simply a gift that I asked to get back. I made a quick Instagram post summarizing this as best as I could, and Snowy advised I make a YouTube video covering everything that went down between me and her. So, here we are now. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if I left anything out as my brain seems to be acting to forget this shit even happened. This has caused me anxiety attacks, strife, and lots of crying. This person has done so much damage to me and probably doesn't even know it. All in all, Superlucky128 is someone who does not care at all about her friends, just the rare pixels, sitting on her virtual animal's head. She is manipulative, greedy, a bigot, and overall the most toxic jammer I've met in my time playing Animal Jam. She was able to manipulate me in more than one way. Please do not let her manipulate you too. Stay away from her at all costs. As of the direction this channel will take, I do not know what direction it will take after this. If I will rebrand it and make it into something else, or if I will keep it the same. I'll keep my previous videos up, though, because I see no reason to take them down. However, this channel might not stay Animal Jam related. Thank you for watching and listening to this. This is Coconut Blast 64 AJ, signing out.